Good morning, Living Rock. I am talking to you today because the elders have been meeting for the last couple of weeks discussing what it is going to be like to seek to reopen. But before I get to that, I just want to tell you why we shut down for a time. We shut down for a time because of a massive increase in the cases in Gillette. And actually, over this 2 week period, there have been over 37, there's 37 that I know of people that attend Living Rock on a regular basis that were either quarantined or had a COVID positive test within their different families. And so we shut down for 2 weeks. And I just want to let you know we're going to come together to worship. We're going to open up the doors. We have seating for 160 approximately. And we're going to try and squeeze in a few more for people to be able to worship. But Kara has cleaned the carpets. She's been doing an extra job because some of those people were actually in the building during the time that they could have potentially been carrying the virus. We also want to know that we're trying to just mitigate our risk. And I know that there are people, some of you have contacted me, a lot of you have contacted me in the last couple of weeks to just talk about why you think we should be open or why we should be closed. I've heard both sides of this. And my heart and hope, and the elders' heart and hope, is that we can protect each other in as much as we can, that we can evaluate our individual risk factors and give liberty to one another in this. This week, we're going to encourage you to sit as families. Our nursery will be open as far as like the doors are open, but it will not be staffed. And so we encourage you to sit as families. If you have a child who's really fussy, you can go and use that room, or has a dirty diaper, you can use that room. But we're going to encourage you to come and join together. We're going to encourage physical distancing. I hate saying social distancing because Living Rock is very social. It's part of our ethos that we connect and we love each other. I've never been in a place with a longer greeting time than Living Rock has had. But I encourage you to come, and I encourage you to give a lot of grace and kindness, to give a lot of charity to people that may come and may look different than you, may want to be separated more than you would like to be or would be comfortable with. So I want to encourage you this week to put on love. I've been reading in John, 1 John and 2 John actually this morning, and I wanted to share this verse with you. It's 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. Whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. And my hope is that we love each other well. And I've heard from many of you about the difference of perspective on everything from whether we should meet or not meet, whether we should wear masks or not wear masks. And this week I'm going to challenge all of us to wear a mask. And I don't know, maybe our governor will tell us that we have to wear a mask if we're in a social gathering like church. But I would like to encourage you to do this. And I know there's people on all sides of this. Some that think it's a conspiracy theory and that you're covering up the image of God if you wear a mask. And then there are some that think everybody should be wearing an N95 mask. But what I'd like to encourage you to do is to just understand that you're not going to understand everybody's perspective on this. And we can be gracious to one another and have unity together. And that this piece of fabric wouldn't be what divides us. Sin and righteousness ought to divide us from the world, but we as a body ought to come together and love one another. And so I want to encourage you to maybe consider wearing a mask, because we can't know the risk tolerances of other people. For instance, my parents are taking all sorts of precautions, even though they don't believe that for themselves. Although they're a little older, they're in great health. COVID probably wouldn't affect them, but they're also taking care of my 93-year-old grandmother from time to time. And so they do a lot of things to protect themselves, not for themselves, but for my grandmother. There are also those that don't wear masks because a mask inhibits their breathing and they can't function with a mask on. And so we have to give liberty in both cases. And I would encourage you to do that. And although a mask, unless it's an N95, isn't going to totally protect us, would you wear a mask that it might prevent that? Especially singing is a little more high risk if somebody had COVID-19 to spread it to a larger group of people. And I know it's really hard to sing. No one likes to sing more than I do. But would you wear a mask that we would have unity? Would we let not a piece of fabric divide us? And if you don't wear a mask, that's okay. We're going to still love you. And if you do wear a mask, we're going to love one another. But will we go the extra mile, and will we demonstrate love to one another this Sunday? So come and join us, 9:30 this Sunday. I know the worship team's putting stuff together. We're going to have a great time being unified in Christ, even in the challenges of a pandemic. And so let us look to him. Let us worship him. Let's put him center stage so that he receives the glory through us as we love one another. So I hope to see you then.